What's that?
Throw a party with me.
You won't go to the cops about AJ? Unless I throw some kind of party for it?
Oh, no. That's not what I meant at all. Well, I guess it did sound that way.
Well, what did you mean?
First of all, of course I will go to the cops about AJ.
Okay.
I will tell them that I saw him drinking, that I saw him getting angrier and angrier, and that he was blaming Connie for his losing ELQ. I'm sorry. I guess you don't need to hear all of this again, do you?
Go on. I want to hear more about this party.
Okay, well, I was thinking. You're clearly in a bad way right now. How could you not be? But dwelling on your hatred for AJ, that is not going to help you heal.
And throwing a party for the woman I love who was murdered? That will?
No, this party wouldn't be for Connie. It would be for our children. To celebrate Morgan and Kiki's marriage.
Go on.
Well, our kids, impetuous souls that they are, they ran off to the courthouse, eloped. It's bad enough that we didn't even get to witness the ceremony, but with everything that's gone on since, we haven't even been able to celebrate them.
It's not really a good time to be, partying.
Well, but don't you think we should acknowledge this big step that your son and my daughter have taken in their lives? After all, you and I have both been behind this marriage 100% from the very beginning.
Miss Jerome, I haven't even buried Connie yet, so I don't know.
No, I'm aware of that.
You're aware of that, but you want me to still throw a party.
I would take care of all the details. You wouldn't need to do a thing.
Well, I would have to do something, because otherwise you wouldn't be here.
All I ask is that you show up for Morgan and Kiki, so that we can all start to focus on something positive.
Is that all?
I realize it's a lot to ask under the circumstances, but that's why it has to be you. You are the one bearing the greatest burden. And if you could step up and lead and show us all how to focus on the good that's still left in our lives, I think that would be a wonderful way to honor our children. And maybe even Connie.
What do you know about Connie and how she'd want to be honored?
Nothing. Not personally. But I get the feeling that Ms. Falconeri was a very positive force in this world. And that she would want Morgan and Kiki, and even you, to embrace the future.
Miss Jerome, we just met. You don't know me, you don't know Connie, you don't know what you're talking about. And I find it very insulting. You have no idea what it's like to lose someone.
I know exactly what it's like.
I thought you also lost somebody you loved?
Well, not exactly. But I was in a relationship that ended tragically.
If this is Kiki's fault, no offense, but that's not the same thing. Connie and I, we didn't break up. She was murdered. She was taken from me. So, your guy's still alive. You still got a chance.
Unlikely.
Not impossible.
I didn't mean to compare my loss to yours.
Seems like you've said a lot of things you don't mean.
I have, haven't I? That's very unlike me. What I meant when I said I know how you feel is that I know what it's like to go to that very dark place. And something tells me you do too.
Anybody?
Lithium. That's for bipolar disorder, isn't it?
It's none of your business.
You're right, it isn't. I just want you to know that I sympathize.
I don't need your sympathy.
fair enough. But you do have my empathy. And there's nothing either of us can do about that. I have been to those highs and lows myself, while dealing with my own loss. That's what bipolar disorder is, isn't it?
It's not quite that simple, basically, yeah.
And so those pills, those are so you don't feel any of that. My doctor tried prescribing them to me back then, but I couldn't keep up with it.
Why not?
I guess in some way I thought that taking the pills was like abdicating responsibility for what happened. And I wanted to feel that pain because I caused what happened. Going to that dark place was my penance. I wonder which punishment is worse. Feeling too much of something? Or nothing at all? Derek.
I've been on medication for a long time. Has nothing to do with losing Connie.
Well, then obviously I've said the wrong thing again. I really should quit while I'm behind. Again, I'm sorry for making assumptions, for prying into your personal pain. I just hope that you know that my intentions are good.
I know that.
However you process what you're going through isn't for me to say. And whether or not you want to continue taking those pills, that's your decision. No one else's.
What?
Allow me to apologize one last time. I really should leave you be. I wish that we'd had the opportunity to meet under more pleasant circumstances. Morgan speaks so highly of you. Good night, Mr. Corinthos.
Miss Jerome, Morgan loves your daughter, doesn't he?
Very much.
Throw the party.
Sonny, you won't regret this. What was so urgent that I needed to drop everything and come to a dank, smelly pier so late at night?
I just received word that Sonny's men grabbed my friend Vince earlier tonight.
Really? Oh, that's terrible.
On so many levels. You can imagine my surprise when I showed up here and found him, a free man, rushing to grab the first boat out of town.
Boss, let me...
I don't want an explanation. I want answers. No. You obviously talked. So what did you tell them?
What do we...
I mean, how could you be so stupid? Getting caught like that. And worse, selling us out.
Do you have any idea how much you've put our operation at risk?
I didn't tell him anything about what we're planning. All they wanted to know was who I was working for.
And did you tell him?
Look, boss, we're still in the clear. All I did was give him your name.
Sonny,
What's going on?
we got a name.
What are you talking about?
The guys who've been hitting our shipments, the ones muscling onto our territory, we know who's in charge.
Who?
Julian Jerome.
Okay. Could be worse.
How?
I could have given them your name. You didn't give them her name, did you?
No, sir.
Thank goodness for small miracles.
Well, fortunately, I don't look the same as the last time I was in Port Charles. Even I forget that sometimes. Now, speaking of which, I didn't tell you, I just ran into Commissioner Devane and Duke Lavery.
And?
Oh, they both looked me right in the face, and neither of them recognized me.
See? No harm, no foul. As far as the world knows, Julian Jerome is dead.
Oh, that's true. Something you and he will have in common.
Why would you bring me here of all places? I mean, if you wanted to gloat, we could have just stayed at the restaurant at the Metro Court.
I wanted to put as much distance between you and that sleaze as possible. I mean, if that display doesn't convince you that he's a slime with the emotional depth of a gnat, no, you wouldn't listen to what I'm saying.
I wonder what the hell that's all about.
She does not appreciate.
Thanking me for my genius instead of trashing my idea to throw a party with Sonny. Everyone will be completely occupied while you make your move.
You were completely missing the point. You knew how I felt about you making contact with Sonny, and you completely ignored what I said.
Get over it. I'm not one of your soldiers. We are equal partners in crime, aren't we?
Okay, I recognize Derek Wells, but who's the woman?
Ava Jerome. My son's married to her daughter.
Is there a reason you're not saying hello?
Yeah, I can't stand her.
Why not?
Because the first time I laid eyes on her, she was kissing Franco.
There's only one problem with that. Julian Jerome's dead.
Quick,
Julian Jerome died in a shootout years ago.
Are you sure?
The Jeromes controlled most of Port Charles in the 80s, along with the McKays. They are long gone.
Man, I don't know what to say, man. That's the name Vince gave me.
Did it ever occur to you he could be lying?
Look, man, the man was scared. He was ready to crack, okay? Look, Max and I, we threatened him with the deep fryer, the whole nine.
Okay.
The guy was caving in as soon as the oil started bubbling, man. I was sure he was telling me the truth.
Did you let him go?
Yeah.
So that's how you do your job, John! By just letting him go when he's lying to you!
Sonny, what's going on here? Ava and Franco were up to something when I first met her, and I haven't trusted her since. Look at her. You can tell she's plotting something.
Last time I saw Mr. Wells, he was in a hospital gown. But now he looks like he stepped off the cover of the GQ. And Ava's no slouch either. I mean, look at that shirt.
You should consider your words more carefully, sister, because we're not going to be partners in anything unless you start running your ideas past me.
what difference does it make now? We couldn't have planned this any better if we tried.
And how's that?
As I was saying, Sonny is out of his mind with grief over the dear departed. Not to mention, he's bipolar.
What?
And he's on some pretty heavy-duty medication. But I put it in his mind that maybe he ought to skip it.
Bipolar mob boss off his meds. Well, that's either a complete disaster or exactly the opening we need.
Admit it. I took care of keeping Sonny busy the night of the shipment. Now, if you excuse me, I have a party to plan.
That was too close, girl.
Who's there?